interesting. Did Cain Velasquez just try to kill someone outside a high school?
Yeah, I saw that. This is nuts. It's also DC's not doing commentary, and DC's not doing commentary this week. Last minute, the news got announced at the same time. Did Cain Velasquez try to kill Daniel Cormier?
No, that would be the article. They wouldn't be like Cain Velasquez like shot someone, but we don't know what's going on. You know, they wouldn't. No one thinks they can sweep that under the rug. So no, but obviously he's cancelled to
be with his friend,
like his boy, like
which is very understandable. I don't know what to make of that story, man. I'm not going to lie, because
there's no details yet.
There's no details. It's called attempted murder because a gun was fired and it hit somebody. But that's the initial arrest. That's not necessarily what
was the charge is going to shot.
They're in hospital, they were shot, but it's non-life-threatening and non-lethal. So, I mean, I'm guessing the hand, the shoulder, the leg, or something like that.
I don't think when you shoot someone, like, even unless you're like an absolute weapons expert, I think that anything even near them, they're like, well, you were probably aiming for the head though. I don't think you even have to hit them to catch an attempted murder charge.
Well, no. It's just the intention, but the intention's very important. They would have arrested him on this based on the facts of gun was fired, you were holding the gun, it hit person. But the guy's in shit. But it might be, you don't know what the circumstances are. He might have been doing some fucking target practice or something like accidental discharge. Or it could be CTE came out and he went into a fit of rage and pulled a fucking gun that he owns out at somebody or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe this dude just like fucked with his daughter or something. We have no idea. But
it's based on his character, I would like to believe, and I feel like it's a little bit like when we saw Chuck Liddell arrested for domestic abuse, and you were just like, let's just sit on this one because, you know, forget his cage persona aside, pretty fucking decent guy by all accounts, like not the type, and then you realize,
especially when you find out why.
Yeah, or even like the Chael Sonnen one, where it's like something about this doesn't make sense, and then it's like, oh yeah, all the charges got dropped. The real story seems to be he was defending his wife.
He didn't get arrested and booked though, so obviously gun equals more serious. But I have no idea. I need details.
It's I want to believe that there's a very understandable explanation for this that might not get him off the hook, but doesn't mean he's facing attempted murder.
Yeah. By the way, talking about attempted murder, Owen Rivera is booked to fight May 11th for Khabib Nurmagomedov, the dude that tried to stab his two sisters.
Oh,
like a bit of a psychotic episode. Yeah,
and he's fighting. He's fighting in Khabib's promotion.
Yep. Yeah. Fighting May 11th, which seems really soon to me. But doctors have cleared it and everything. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to question these things. I'm not a judge. I'm not religious. But yeah, fucking. What a world we live in. I guess he lives in Mexico. I don't know if that makes a difference.
It may do. And there's also a fact of. It's a tricky one, man, because until somebody says that you're guilty in court, you are innocent until proven guilty. And there is an idea of like, at what point do you deprive somebody of their ability to make a living? If you are saying that they have the presumption of innocence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you'd think anything that requires like a sanctioning body to clear fighters like medically would have to factor in extreme episodes of mental health. Like,
Yeah.
surely. I don't fucking know. It's in Miami, so Florida Athletic Commission.
Do you not think, though, that mental health is a bit of a... With that kind of thing, it's a... You could kind of argue that anybody who's willing to fight in a cage for money should have their mental health questioned. A kind of argument. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's a string maybe you don't want to pull.
No, but I think, all right, let's say best case scenario, right? The dude's totally healthy mentally and everything. He has a breakdown. He has a psychotic episode because of like emotional trauma. Say like his best friend dies and his wife leaves him, and a family member gets cancer, and his kid gets like fucking molested all in the same month. And it just culminates in him having an absolute psychotic episode and trying to stab his two sisters. And like a day later, he's like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God, what's gone wrong? And just does like all the therapy and everything right that he did. Okay. You know, less than a year later, seems too soon, even in a best case scenario, for a sanctioning athletic commission to be like, I don't need to see anymore. He says he's fine. If you can't trust him, because it's his head, right? It's all in his mind. Can't trust him. Who can I fucking trust? I say you got to let the guy earn his money and shit. I really don't know where I fall on it.
It's
not I want to talk about the podcast specifically. I would like to talk about the fact that he's back fighting, but I don't want to get into a deep conversation about whether I think that's right or not, because I am fucking shooting in the dark. I've got no idea the circumstances of the episode other than him trying to stab his two sisters. I think actually successfully stabbing his sisters, if I'm not mistaken. Although they did both go to bat for him, so probably not too bad. Or I don't know, just Mexicans are really close. And then I know nothing else of the context.
To be honest, I think you touched the nail on the head. And as mentioned, I'm trying to do more cold open, so I was going to try and include some of this in. But what I would say is he's not inactive. Like, if he was still in the fucking, the psychiatric hospital, and then they offered him a fight, I'd be like, okay, what the fuck is going on, guys? The guy's in a mental hospital. But at certain points, like if he's been cleared to be released from that, at the very least, you have to take some consideration. And I think what would be interesting is whether or not he went through some kind of psychiatric evaluation before the fight was offered, whether or not there's some stipulation that he has to present an updated psychiatric examination before the fight actually takes place, might be a factor.
Probably not the best time to do that.
I mean, dude, listen, Tony Ferguson was fighting less than a year after he said that, his wife was a witch trying to steal their son, and that listening devices had been implanted into his leg. So
it's his leg. I thought it was his wall. I thought he was tearing up the house, like smashing holes in the walls.
Oh, he thought that as well, but he also thought when he had his operation done that they'd hidden extra stuff when they repaired his knee.
Let's just leave it all in. But if we don't, so you got something to work with there. We're talking about Erwin Rivera coming back May 11th, fighting under Eagle FC. And I'm not a fucking doctor.
Neither am I. So what I'd say on that...
I'm glad you clarified that, because I was wondering. There was a suspenseful gap. I'm going out of focus again, Matt.
It happens every now and again with you. Sometimes I forget and I just think your camera's shit, and then you readjust it and I'm like, oh yeah, he's got HD, which doesn't get seen on Zoom anyway, as we've discovered. We're trying to improve that. How about those fucking new logos for the podcast, man? He nailed the little one.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff coming up. It's looking nice. It is looking fucking nice.
Spoiler alert, we've got some new logos. We're going to make everything look a little bit more fish. We're going to have the logo on the Instagram. We're going to start pushing the Instagram more. We're going to be making the title cards a bit more personal. Josh and I, at some point, I don't know if this will be at the same time that the title cards are ready for the podcast editing, but we are also planning on doing a little intro song of our own, so we're not just using stock music footage.
Yeah. The problem is, my girlfriend's dog freaks out every time I pick up the guitar. So I have explained to my girlfriend this is something I want to get done. So, and I haven't been able to get her to actually do it yet, but I'm hoping maybe this weekend will be the first one. You just got to go take him for like a 4-hour walk, and let me make this podcast a little bit better, just a little bit more special. Actually, the stuff I'm going to write is very much going to be a placeholder until we have the means to get proper music. But it'll be fun.
I think you're thinking of just doing something instrumental. I want to go lyrics, man. I want to go like a full, harmonizing. I can't actually harmonize, but I think that will make the song more enjoyable for our listeners.
We'll just T-Pain it, mate. Just auto-tunes.
Even better.
Everything in the post, yeah.
Even better.
Leave lyric suggestions in the comments, Dave.
Please do, and Laurie as well. Don't really know. Well, first of all, we will say hello, welcome back to the MMA Split podcast. Please let us know if you enjoy the cold open, or if you preferred it when we just got straight to the point. I kind of feel that it's nice, it's like an easing it. Trying to be a bit more organic.
It's liquid football, mate. That's what it is.
Liquid football.
So, talking about Alan Partridge the other day.
Man, I haven't seen Alan Partridge in ages. I need to go back and rewatch it, man.
You're the first Partridge appearance. The day-to-day. Alan's World Cup soccer countdown.
Was that the first ever Alan Partridge?
That was the first time Steve Coogan did Alan Partridge on TV. I don't know if he ever did it in his act. I thought it started as a radio character. Maybe. I know he created it with like Iannucci, or Iannucci definitely had a big hand in like fleshing it out. Well, I mean, Iannucci is 90s British comedy. Him and the people that peripherally worked around him, like Coogan, Chris Morris, Charlie Brooker.
Charlie Brooker is kind of later than the 90s, I thought he was sort of more early 2000s.
Yeah. His website was in the 90s, but when he was working with Iannucci, he was in the noughties. But I was just thinking about all the people that like Iannucci kind of like has that influence on. I did Stuart Lee's Comedy Vehicle. I don't know if he did all of it, but like when he used to do I think it was like the third season of it, where he would have the sit-down interviews with Stu. He just ripped the shit out of him.
I never saw those, man.
This is the coldest of cold opens. I've just gone off on a fucking tangent.
See, when you say Armando, my mind goes straight to the thick of it if I think Armando Iannucci.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the thick of it. Veep, I watched. So I started getting into it just as I moved here, and I moved away from staying at my uncle's house, which had Sky and like Veep all there. So I watched like the first, I think, 3 or 4 episodes of the first season. And then I moved and I had like a half broken laptop and no TV for like my first 6 months in Barcelona. So I wasn't really watching a lot of shows. Like I fell out of that. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I never finished. So there's loads that are like on my watch list where it just, the thing is I've got so many platforms I can watch stuff on now that I really hate having to do like the dodgy website to find a series that I can't find, and then not having it in HD and all this kind of stuff. So if I can't watch it comfortably in good quality, there's so much shit to watch, man. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to be on Netflix eventually. I think it is on HBO.
That, mate, I haven't been able because of Otis, and because I'm not enough of a dick to just go by myself and leave my girlfriend behind. I haven't seen the new Spider-Man. I haven't seen No Way Home yet. I've avoided all spoilers. It's getting to the point though that I don't know if that's going to be available on a streaming platform before Multiverse of Madness. Because to be honest, Sony can do whatever the fuck they want. It's just...
There's big licensing issues as well. So there's it can't go just straight onto Disney Plus like it usually would. There's a whole fucking song and game.
I don't think it will ever go on Disney Plus, to be honest.
It will eventually. They allow it after a certain amount of time. Because you've got the other two, Homecoming and Far From Home. both ended up like a year later than they should have been.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. All right. It's not gonna be on there at any point where it's gonna be helpful to me. So
Also, man, you've kind of got past the point where, you know, if you've not seen any trailers and you've not heard any spoilers, really you're not going to have too many people talking about anything
it's not the
until
point. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It's killing me. And
it's a
now,
fucking good movie, man.
so I told Kate to actually get a dog sitter so that I can take a day off work. We'll do it during the week. She won't work that day either, and we'll just go see No Way Home, go get some drinks, go back to the cinema and watch the Batman. Just let
Oh,
me get
that's
caught
a
up on some shit.
fucking great movie day. That's a great
Yeah.
movie day.
Would you know what? Best movie day I ever did, and there's been some good ones. You know, I once did Jurassic World and the Entourage movie in the same day, and it was my
Strong.
birthday, and I'd taken a lot of drugs. That was a pretty good day. But the best movie day, The Dark Knight. First time I saw The Dark Knight, I then, with my girlfriend at the time, just went and got some drinks and went back for like the late showing of Wally, and watch Wally. Sorry, Wally. Yeah,
That's strong. That's very strong.
best movie day I've ever done. That was pretty fucking good in the cinema.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like,
Dark Knight was one of those movies. I was 18 when I was just about to turn 18 when The Dark Knight came out, or I had just had turned 18, and there were loads of good. Like, it was a really strong movie year for movies that year. Like, you had Slumdog Millionaire, you had Wall-E, you had the Oscar contenders were all really good. So I was going to the cinema all the time. I think I saw The Dark Knight like at least 3 or 4 times in the cinema. I hadn't done that since I was a kid.
It's fair enough. It's the opening, just the bank heist every time just sets it for me. I'm just like, I got goosebumps. I'm like, I fucking love this movie.
It doesn't stop though. That's the thing. The moment you get
yeah.
that bank heist, it is that pace throughout the whole fucking movie. And also, I'd remembered, like, before that movie came out, obviously you'd had Batman Begins, which I fucking loved, but I still didn't really think they'd go as far as they went. Like, I was expecting it to be hammy. And I just went in with this belief of just like, please let this be the dark crime drama that I want it to be. And then every scene happened and you're just sitting there just going, fucking yes. Like when he's got the fake Batman and he's torturing him, I was just like, yes, I can't believe this is a comic book movie. This is like, I was a kid watching Batman and Robin in the cinema. That was the
Nolan
Batman
fan going in.
I didn't know anything. Okay, so I hadn't really identified Nolan as like the main guy until Dark Knight. And really the 2 movies of his that I'd seen before were Batman Begins. I hadn't seen Memento. I didn't see Memento until I was like 20 or 21. Prestige, I saw with my dad in Australia, and I thought it was an amazing movie. But I didn't realize it was Christopher Nolan. It was kind of before I was like, I was into movies, but I wasn't quite connecting like some of these newer directors. Like I knew Spielberg and like the old greats, but it wasn't until after I saw The Dark Knight that I was obviously looking back, and I was like, he made that movie, and fuck, I've got to watch Memento. And then I watched Memento, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy's a genius. And then obviously every movie since, although I don't know about you, I feel since Inception, it's not that he hasn't made great movies, it's just I haven't enjoyed them as much as the movies he made up to and including Inception.
I don't know, man. Interstellar is fucking awesome. I wouldn't
emotionally
Dunkirk
satisfying.
Would have been after Interstellar.
I didn't like Dunkirk.
After Inception.
I didn't like Dunkirk.
Fair enough then.
I respected it. I just felt that he was so desperate. He's got this like dedication to not using special effects. And I think for so many of his movies, that's excellent. But the issue I had with Dunkirk is because it's all practical. It's just, it's 1,600 people on a beach for most of the movie. And there's kind of shooting, but like, that's not what Dunkirk was like.
That bit on the beach is the best bit.
It wasn't for me. We're not saying it's not that I didn't think it was a bad movie. It's just that I didn't have that feeling that I got. Interstellar, it's flawed, but emotionally, I think it's fucking brilliant. Like you are emotionally on McConaughey's journey throughout, and you
Yeah.
and
I
emotionally
was
very
fucking
satisfying.
excited every time they landed on a planet. I was like, oh shit, it's gonna happen now. I got fucking sucked in by that movie. That is a great fucking movie.
It's got one of my
Um,
all-time favorite movie scenes, which is when he's watching the 23 years of spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. Obviously, they've been on the planet and they come back, and it's 23 years has passed in like a couple of hours, and he's watching the videos that his kids were sending him, and it's just his son for ages. And then his daughter comes on, and she's the same age that he was when he left. I think that is just the acting, the direction, my favorite scene in the movie.
it is a beautiful fucking movie. Sounds like you do rate it, if I'm honest.
It's emotionally really satisfying. It's just one of those that I kind of thought back, and there's too many things that are a bit like, but it didn't change the fact that I was there throughout. I was emotionally invested the whole way through. And so I enjoyed it, but it's just like, it's not that, Memento is such a well crafted movie. Dark Knight, there's the Prestige. There's no scene in this movie that's wasted or out of place. Everything fits together perfectly. And I just feel that obviously the problem with Interstellar, it's such a big idea. We're talking about massive quantum theoretical physics, in an extreme example. And obviously you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit more. But I can understand the critics people have of it when they're like, love was the cure. I can understand why it's frustrating for people. Whereas if you say I don't like The Prestige, I'm like, you sir do not understand anything about films or storytelling.
I fucking ruined The Prestige for a dude in my film class. I was like, have you seen it? And he was like, no. Spoiler alert, guys. I was like, oh, don't worry then, I won't talk about it. And then I was like, do you know any twins? Like, just because it was in my mind then. And he's like, so the movie's about fucking twins then? I'm like, you put two and two together, yeah? All right, safe. It's already done. Yeah, it's definitely about twins. It's sick.
Okay, last thing before we... Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go. I was going to say last thing... Oh, we're doing this. You first.
Sorry. I watched The Prestige with my dad, and halfway through the movie, when basically he's like kidnapped his partner, his twin, and like buried him alive, and he's like fucking desperate to get him out. My dad just goes, twins. And I'm like, yeah, fucking thanks a lot, dickhead. I don't care how smart you want me to think you are. Just ruined a movie. What are you doing? Then I ruined it for another kid. Made me feel a little bit better about it, to be honest.
I've got a good Prestige related story because, like The Dark Knight, I've probably seen The Prestige more times than any other Christopher Nolan movie. Like, I got really obsessed with that film for a while, and it's that film that any friend of mine I thought would enjoy it, I'd immediately watch this film with them and kind of enjoy them enjoying the movie. So my granddad, when he was still alive, my mum's dad, and he was staying with us in London, is how I'm having this conversation with him, and he's saying that he doesn't think there's any good movies that's been made since like 1980 or whatever. And I obviously was just like, no, this movie's been made. It's fucking brilliant. You'll love it. It's a period piece, and it's about two rivals, and how their obsessions take over and destroy their lives.
Spoiler alert, guys.
So I put this movie on, and like, obviously when you've seen a movie before and you're watching it again with somebody who's watching it for the first time, you're kind of trying to enjoy their enjoyment a little bit. So you're kind of doing the check over of like, is he still invested? And we get like a good solid hour and 40 minutes in. Like, Tesla has just left him the box at the in Colorado Springs. And I look over to my granddad, and this, because I know that the box is going to be the one thing that's kind of like a little hard for him to buy. So I'm just like, what do you think of the movie so far? And he goes, oh, I have no idea what's going on. I've just been staring at the screen. I got lost 5 minutes in. It did like 3 jumps and I didn't know what was going on. I just blanked, switched off. I haven't really been watching it. I was just like, what do you mean? He's just like, well, I don't know. It's just he was in prison and then he wasn't. And it's just like, well, it was flashbacks, Granddad. He's just like, I couldn't follow. And I was just like, God damn it. God fucking damn it. I should have explained that you have to, it's quite visual and you have to kind of follow the hints, but nah.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what was for everyone. fights this weekend.
Dominant performances. Best fight, I thought, I'm going to say it hands down. Kim versus Cachoeira was the best fight on the card, without a fucking shadow of a doubt. And Kim got robbed.
Card, best fight of the weekend, though, was Leah McCourt against Sinead Kavanagh. That was a fucking great fight.
Did not see that Bellator card. I just saw the utter destruction of...
the main card.
Oh, do you want to talk about Bellator first?
Yeah, we fucking should, because...
Happened first.
It's fresher in my mind. I was feeling very fucking ropey on Sunday, and this is not going to be my best episode. I have no doubt of that. But Bellator, I did catch. I missed the Brett Johns fight though on the prelims. I missed the prelims. I had to go do a little work thing. Got back, made some dinner, caught the main card. But yeah, Mousasi absolutely ran through Vanderford. I don't think it even lasted a minute.
It was a minute and 36 seconds.
Yeah.
But
fair play then.
That fight
out of it.
That fight was over when the first punch was landed. You could just see he was wobbled. He wasn't there. And I mean, really, it was a bit embarrassing, if I'm perfectly honest. Because however good Mousasi is, and Mousasi is a good fighter. He's a elite level, would be a challenger for the middleweight belt at minimum if he was still in the UFC.
When he left, he left on a win streak. He left because of the money. Because it was kind of clogged up the top of the title picture, but he was like, I think ranked 5 or 4 when he left, and he was like a big fucking deal when he left. They had just signed Rory McDonald, and this was like the next signing that was like, oh shit, like Bellator is like a real fucking good place to go if you want to make some money now. He is. If you're not Lovato Jr., like you have no business being on the same roster as him.
Well, however good he is, he's not, we're not talking about the gentleman from Dagestan that we'll be talking about when we get to the UFC card. You've got to expect that a title challenger is able to offer more than that. And it's not that he can't get hit. And obviously, that counter right from Mousasi, his striking is so crisp. It's so precise. However, Vanderford just folded. It's like he got hit and just went, fuck, not ready. No, done. We're done. And I think for the build up and for the fact that it was disappointing. It was disappointing. Not from Mousasi's side. He did exactly what he's expected to do, which is easily dismantle an opponent that is far below your level. And he delivered on that very, very comfortably. But we were talking, and you've talked about previous weeks about, the way Bellator builds its young fighters. And obviously there's that balance between building them up slowly and then kind of protecting them to until the top.
Not everyone's AJ McKee.
And well, that's literally what you said, I think, in our pick show. Is he going to be an AJ McKee or is he going to be a Pico? And obviously Pico had his slip-ups, and kind of hype train crash at an earlier point. But really, I mean, Vanderford is so far behind Mousasi that I can't even say, it's not like we can say, okay, man, you got caught early with a hard shot. It happens. It just kind of felt like you could run that fight could have been played back 100 times. And I don't think Vanderford is even getting past the second round. And that's a problem. That's a really big problem. And I know that he started off at welterweights. The weight cuts were killing him. He is a little short for the division. And I wonder whether or not he kind of should have maybe tried to take the nutritionist route and sort of take off some muscle mass and be more of a welterweight, because it did kind of feel like even just the size difference between them, it's been a rough time in the cage and the ring for the Van Zants recently.
Well, you know what? He's got time to learn, room to grow. He'll be better for this one. Not that he got a lot of, cage time with Mousasi, but the build up and everything, and understanding, what the top of the mountain kind of looks like, it's going to help him get there, no doubt. Or at least, achieve like the most that he can achieve. Mousasi fucking called that. Knew he was going to run through him. Just real quickly, I'll just give you a little breakdown on why you might want to go maybe rewatch McCourt Kavanagh. Kavanagh, obviously coming off the loss to Cyborg, is ranked high enough in a not a shallow division, but was Ngannou injured and out of her fight and everything. This was essentially a title eliminator.
So quick route
striker,
back.
Yeah. McCourt, I don't know if they said it was a title eliminator before, but the winner, Kavanagh is getting the next title shot. She's getting that rematch straight away. McCourt, very decorated grappler, big problem for everyone. A lot of people kind of assume that McCourt is going to take this one, and they're kind of talking about, is she going to be a bad matchup for Cyborg? Whereas Kavanagh, already kind of got fucked up once. McCourt gets the fight to the mat early. And Kavanagh, as you imagine, is just kind of getting whooped for about 2 minutes from bottom. And then she manages to get a Kimura, sweep, get her foot over the back. And I swear to God, there was about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I thought she was going to submit McCourt. And she just kind of set the tone from there. Unfortunately, early on in the second round, her knee goes. It just sort of seems to get kind of caught between McCourt's legs, caught between McCourt. Ooh. I'm a wordsmith. And up against the cage, I don't know, it's just kind of pulled or something, but it just kept buckling on her. So she ended up sat down on her ass a few times and having a kind of fight off her back, which is not a good place to be against a grappler like McCourt. But Jesus Christ, Matt, I swear to God, she gets 2 close rounds in the bank. It doesn't matter, she can barely stand for the third round. She toughs it out, gets to the end, even does some damage. And Jesus fucking Christ. I was so emotionally invested in this fight after the injury that when Kavanagh gets that, I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, maybe she can beat Cyborg. She definitely can't. And I'm going to pick that way when it comes up again. But there's that stupid little part of me that believes, much in the same way we wanted to try and sell Bobby Green last week.
I was wrong.
You weren't wrong. We both picked Makhachev.
No, but I was wrong in our debate. We were talking about...
It wasn't a debate. It was raising an interesting point of view, which is very valid. But it feels so moot in hindsight that I feel bad for acting that it wasn't totally relevant at the time.
Well, it's not just that, but you were spot on, mate. You were spot on in the sense that this was going to happen. This was always going to happen, and it's going to push him further down the queue of getting interesting fights, rather than, it's not the blank check that people were kind of said, that I kind of felt it was, and the what if.
And it was the last fight, right? So now he's got to re-sign, renegotiate. See how they disrespect my boy.
You were right, man. You were right, and I was wrong. Did you really think it would be that quick, though?
No, I had a few bad songs with it being in the 4th or the 5th round. But let's be honest, man, it's a big fucking ask. A quick turnaround from a 3-round fight, you take a lot of damage. The catch weight probably doesn't favor you. It's just a necessity at that point. Big fucking ask.
I'll be perfectly honest.
My boy.
The moment that he actually successfully got the takedown, I was watching on replay on DAZN on Sunday morning, and I just did the jump forward 30 seconds because I was just like, it's over. The moment and then he gets into top mounts, and you're like, he's not getting out of that. He put up a decent fight against the takedown initially. It wasn't that first attempt. He kind of made him work for it. But, I mean, that's what kind of makes Makhachev so impressive, is it's like, okay, I can't take you with this technique. I'm going to do this. And if this fails, it helps me set up this. And then, with most wrestlers, it's like, okay, it's about defending that 3rd and 4th takedown attempt. With Makhachev, it's about defending 3 takedown attempts, then 2 trips, then 1 hip throw, transitioning to another takedown attempt. And he seems to be seriously strong. That's the real impression I'm getting from this, is that the way Bobby Green reacted to his grip was just like that is a scarily strong human being.
Yeah, man. I don't know what they do, in that camp, but they are fucking freakishly like I was saying something today. Habib like literally just had to get finger and thumb on your ankle, and that was strong enough. He was going to finish that single leg. You were going down at that point. It's ridiculous.
Bobby Green made a mistake though, really early on. I thought his best tactic for this was to not throw that many kicks. He's got great boxing. The hands can be down low. I thought that was going to be his best route, and really is when he tried to throw the body kick. It was caught immediately, and it's the first thing that put him in a bad position and got him in trouble. I'm not saying it would have made a difference. It probably wouldn't have. It almost certainly wouldn't have. But
Well, I think he thinks it would, because that's the thing. It's very hard to censor yourself and to not not be in your natural rhythm and use all of your tools, let alone doing it without a training camp.
The training camp's the big one, because if you have a training camp, you can condition and you can train and you can practice just boxing combinations and make that your sort of formative game plan. He adds 10 days.
Big ask.
You could see the scars on his face, man. You could see he wasn't even fully recovered. Listen, Makhachev's a beast. I don't know what that proves. I still think.
Well, I think we're going to see him fight RDA. I think
if they don't book that fight, so just to let everyone know, Fiziev's out. He's got COVID. He's meant to fight RDA. We talked about this last week. We've been talking about it. Makhachev stepping in at 170. We think. They both said yes. It's just about if the UFC okay it. Fucking okay at UFC. We've been needing... What did I say last week? We've been waiting for this fight for like a year and a half. Yeah. I wanted RDA to drop out of the Fiziev fight to take the Makhachev fight the weekend just gone. So this is exactly what I want.
And I think that win gets him the winner of Oliveira Gaethje.
I think he would have got that already, but it legitimizes it. Because, let's be honest, RDA has done between 3 different fight bookings. He's done at least a camp and a bit's worth of prep and game planning on Makhachev. And he's in the physical condition of a training camp to fight Fiziev next weekend. So there's the one knock you can say against Makhachev is that the top 5 opponents or the top 10 opponent he has beaten took the fight on 4 weeks' notice. And now obviously he's had the Bobby Green fight, who was unranked and came in on even shorter notice. So this would really legitimize it, because if you can beat RDA, fully trained, fully ready, with all the game planning from previous fight bookings that didn't happen in the bank on how to deal with you, and you do that to him, I'm holding my hands up and going, Gaethje, man, fucking win that belt in May, right, because you're not gonna hold on to it for long, and you're not gonna get much of a chance quite soon.
So I muted myself. Kate's just got home, so I think Otis is about to race out. But
I'll just talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I do not think for a second that RDA has got a hope against Makhachev. I really don't. I don't see how he beats him. So it's unfortunate for RDA because he's lost one opponent that I think he probably could have beaten to take an opponent that's almost certainly going to outclass him. So it's not necessarily benefiting him, but RDA also fought Khabib. So you have got to think, before he was even the champion, so you have got to think all the way back when, before either were champ, all the way back when he fought that guy and got so easily dismantled, something that he himself said was a turning point in his career. And that drove him towards ending up getting the title in the end. I feel like that a guy like Khabib's coming back, and your team is kind of always, like in your off season when you haven't got a fight booked, looking at that guy and making a plan. So I feel that he's experienced what Khabib was like. He's had the preparation time to expect to fight Makhachev. He might be the guy that is best equipped to maybe not do it, but understand how to do it.
Yeah, I think possibly. Although I don't know how far away he'd be if he did win this fight from, kind of getting a title shot. What we're talking about? Um, that's not really relevant. Yeah, potentially. Potentially. I think even at 170, with RDA being a big guy, just a little too old these days. I mean, he was a weird one because he kind of fucked his prime up by cutting too much weight. So you kind of see the best of him in weird kind of like moments, mostly kind of in the run up to winning the belt. Before that he was struggling a lot, and then the getting dismantled by Habib, and then afterwards, obviously passing out with the weight cut before the Alvarez fight. It's just one of those things, like, kind of the best he ever was against Cerrone when he won the belt. And then everything's just sort of been a bit of a tail off since. He had that fight against Lawler where Lawler's knee looked fucked, and RDA at 170 was a cardio machine. He had that insane, uninterrupted, I think something like a 40 punch combination on Lawler. People were like, yeah, this is exciting, but never fit 55, never fit 70. He's cut the best years out of his career literally by doing weight cuts. He's just old with a lot of mileage on him. This is a good fight in the terms that, like, he's a relevant guy still, but yeah, obviously Makhachev just gonna run through him.
Do you think Oliveira has a chance against Makhachev?
Yeah, very much so. I really do. And also the other thing is, like, Makhachev, not untested, but kind of untested at the highest levels.
Makhachev hasn't been in a fight where, apart from the one loss he had, which was a bit of a, got hit with a punch and went down, and it happens. He's not had to face the largest amount of adversity in the octagon. Like some of his earlier fights, it wasn't quite this dominant and quick, but it's not like he's never been down on the scorecards after two. I've never seen him wobbled and have to recompose himself or have a bad cut that he has to deal with. And so you always wonder about those guys. But, it's like him and Hamzat, man. There's a certain mentality. And I don't know how easy these guys would break. I think Makhachev will be the champ, and I think he'll be the champ for a long time. This was scary good, even though the competition was lower. And I think the RDA fight, I agree with you. I think RDA probably loses that. He has got miles on the clock. Obviously, at welterweight, we saw him fight a lot of wrestlers who aren't as, dominant in the wrestling as Makhachev is, and kind of get controlled. But the allowance there is that there's a bigger guys, and he was a little small at welterweight. So it probably one-sided, but there's a lot more reasons to be genuinely excited about it than, on hindsight, there should have been about the Bobby Green fight. And I got sucked in. I even said it, like, these short notice fight happens. Quite often you enjoy the build-up more than the actual fight itself. And the build-up got me intrigued. It's just, you were right. You were right.
We all knew it deep down. That's the sad part of it.
I wasn't right on a lot of the main card, to be honest.
We did not do well on the main card.
I was wrong about Wellington Turman. That armbar was sick. I mean, the way
a bit disappointing though, in the Turman isn't exactly a one-dimensional fighter, but at this level, he very much is in terms of effective skill set. Like, he's got those submissions. When they were saying during the cage walk, is a black belt against a black belt, I'm like, yeah, but not really. No disrespect to Serkinov in terms of his, like, grappling skills, but this guy is a lot more kind of sprightly, energetic, and a real fucking submission magician. It's like pretty much the only thing he's got going for him at this level. I felt like it was a little bit of a cheap mistake from Serkinov. Still no setup, very slick, but, like, you shouldn't even be given that half an opening against a guy like that. And as a black belt, you should know that.
It was very slick though, and I question whether or not Serkinov honestly thought that he could get his legs in that position that quickly to set it up. On the flip side, though, this is kind of the issue with Misha Serkinov. It's like there's a lot of mistakes. You know, there's a mistake somewhere every loss. There's moments where, apart from the Johnny Walker fight, you look like you're doing something well, or you win the first round, and then it just completely slips away from you. And even in that exchange, like Serkinov, you were in a dominant position, approaching the end of the round. There should be no reason, if you're fully focused and switched on, that that you're not aware of that, because really you should have been getting in a better position to begin with. So I think he gets cut, man. You know, lost his last couple of
0-2 at middleweight now.
Didn't he lose his last one at light heavyweight? At least his last one at light heavyweight.
Yeah. He wasn't. He wasn't doing great at the end of the heavyweight stint. Thus, the cut down to middleweight, and now that's 0-2 at middleweight. Yeah, I think he could get cut. I think a lot of it would depend on how many fights he's got left and what his contract is. Because if they can lowball him, they might keep him around. Maybe he is still kind of a name.
Yeah, I get you.
It's better than a contender series guy coming in, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of name value, just in terms of name value.
It's not good when you try and do the fresh lick of paint and then, you know, you haven't got a win there yet. And to be honest, this never should have been the co-main.
No.
Ji-Yeon Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira should have been the co-main event after what we saw. This is my favorite fight on the card. This was just two women with different styles going at it. Ruined by the fact that the judges got this one fucking horrifically wrong.
I was going to say, I didn't really understand that. I can understand you want to score more for damage over just volume, you know? Like, you know, damage is going to score more than technique and so on. But
Priscilla's face was fucked.
Yeah.
In those first two rounds.
Yeah. But that was kind of like more of a culmination. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when she landed on Kim, it was a big, obvious fucking thing. And you'd like, the judges are like, oh, I like that. Even if that is your particular sort of affectation, still, that is, how badly outstruck was she? 170 to 102. And I know you can't just go by the numbers, but that's 170 to 102. That is fucking ridiculous.
It's not just that, but like a good proportion of those, the only round where those would have even been marginally even and Priscilla might have been ahead would have been the last round. And the last round was not a 10-8. So there's no way, if you take the last round out of it and you say that was a 2-round fight, and then you give the scorecards after those 2 rounds and you look at the numbers, there is nothing on there that can even suggest that Priscilla had won the fight other than she was walking forward. And how fucking, we're in 2022, how are we still talking about walking forward being the trump all? It's fucking bullshit, mate. And I feel sorry.
Mate, the first round in terms of strike differential was the closest, like 13. Like, yeah, she definitely put it on in the third round, but like, you know, the strike differential is 22 in the second round and 33 in the third round. Like, fuck these judges.
The other thing is that a lot of the elbows, like, don't get me wrong, I love people trying to throw elbow combinations. Fucking loved it when Calvin Casey was doing it earlier in the year against Chikadze.
Yep.
Great to see Priscilla, who knows that she was fighting for a UFC place on the roster after a recent run of form, and trying to gouge Robertson's eyes out.
Yeah,
Gillian Robertson's eyes out, which was pretty nasty. So seeing her just throw caution to the wind, throwing 1-2s with the elbow was fucking glorious. And some of those elbows landed and they were nasty. The majority of them were avoided and Kim landed a counter shot. So it's just like, what do we, like, I get that she's going for it, but Kim is fighting really well. She is timing her. She is landing combinations. She's landing strikes as she's coming forward. So, you know, we talk about significance. Just because somebody has a big wind up and oomph to it, it doesn't mean that the strike landed brilliantly. quite often the best strike's the one where the opponent is coming forward, and that's what does a lot of the damage. And those were the strikes that Kim was landing. It's just it took all of it was like just this big fucking shit stain on what it should have been the unquestioned fight of the night.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I mean, Jesus Christ, 68 plus strike differential, significant strike differential. Just
And let's be honest, if we're talking about someone like Jessica Andrade versus Dion Kim, I would accept that Andrade can land a far fewer number of strikes, and that can trump the damage of a cumulative blow, because we know that when Andrade lands, it is fucking rock hard cement coming at your face. So I can understand that. But Priscilla's not a power striker, really. I'm not saying she can't punch hard, but it's not like you're factoring in this huge power that has to be factored in against this weaker strike. It's not the case. They just got this one wrong. They got this one wrong.
Man, I got the next one wrong.
Yeah. I think we might actually be going down to methods this card.
Oh, we are. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So Sarukian, this was bloody, man. I mean, this was one of the bloodiest fights in a one-sided perspective I've seen for a while. Alvarez's nose was cut to the bone. It was fucking gory as shit.
It's like a big laceration, kind of all the way almost into his eye.
And his eyes were getting a lot of blood into them, and it was irritating him, and he was in a horrible position. Do you know what should have been a key? Do you know what stat we should have had Sly for this week? Do you know what stat would have made you not pick Joel Alvarez?
Go on.
Do you know what his takedown defense percentage is in the UFC?
0.
It's 0%.
Yeah, I think in them big long limbs, my boy could work off his back a little bit. But he even before his vision was impaired, he looked very much kind of outmatched on the ground. Yeah, I took a risk on this one. Do I feel bad about it? No. Sarukian though looked pretty fucking good. Don't know why he didn't take that main event slot up against Islam, but fuck it.
Because he just won his fight in a dominant fashion, looking spectacular. And that probably wouldn't have been the situation if he rematched Makhachev. But I still hold it against him. And to be honest, man, when Makhachev ends up, when Makhachev gets the belt, Sarukian's going to be the guy, I think. That's the other up-and-comer that they look at and go, potential challenge for Makhachev.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some interesting matchups for Makhachev. Like, I think Chandler poses some problems.
I think Chandler poses big problems.
It's like, even though you kind of got them around about each other in the rankings right now, one of them's lost 2 fights. One of them's on a 10-11 fight streak. Yeah. Do they make that? I think it's unlikely. Well, no, they're not, because let's assume Islam fights RDA and then he's going to fight the winner of the belt. So Chandler's got to climb his own mountain first. He's got to get to the top of the pile and earn that right. But that's an interesting matchup, I think.
He's got the power to put Makhachev away and change the fight with a single shot. And I think that is the most key factor to this. He's the one guy. It's not going to be a
fun first round for Islam. That's the only thing I'd be sure of.
Yeah. And I believe that if you want to talk about, if Makhachev has never been in a fight where he's had to recover from serious adversity until he fights Michael Chandler, that's a big fucking question to have to answer for the first time.
Yeah, obviously, I think Charlie Olives is a huge nightmare for Islam as well, to be fair.
The only thing is that if you get Charlie Olives on his back...
Yes, but if you're going to try to get him to his back with trips, throws and tosses and stuff, yeah, he's got an opportunity to kind of snatch at your neck as well. And it's just,
I love how we're talking about this like we're already assuming that Gaethje isn't going, that Olives isn't going to lose to Gaethje.
Hey, fucking anything could happen. Gaethje's a great fighter. But yeah,
If Gaethje fights Makhachev, though, he
I
gets fucked.
yeah, I don't think Gaethje is a bad matchup for Islam. I think that's unless he catches him, which is very always a threat with Gaethje. But yeah, I don't like that fight for Justin.
No.
So like you said, get the gold now because get it while it's good.
Going back to our card, I think the only thing we can say about this is that we can highly recommend that Joel Alvarez do some serious wrestling training, because 0% takedown defense is not going to get you very far at lightweight in the UFC once you get to a certain level.
No, but to be fair as well, this is a guy that likes working his kicks, likes throwing those elbows from the bottom position. He just has been a bit too complacent with it, I think. Although I'm not defending his takedown ability, I'm just saying the guy hasn't really tried, and he needed to in this fight, and
and he didn't.
Fucking cost him dearly.
Man, Petrosian versus Robocop. This was a good fight. This was fun.
Yeah. And Petrosian looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he just moved so well, man. Gregory Rodriguez kept trying to set up these big strikes, and he was just jabbing him, moving out the way, landing good counters.
Mate, I went to bed just before this fight as well, right? And at this point, I've gotten everything right. All of my bets are alive. I'm in a good place. And then this one was the start of a 4-fight skid for me.
I only got 2 on the main card. You only got 1.
3.
If I'm.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. I got 1 on the main card.
Yeah. Well, prelims, since our picks were very similar apart from one, prelims was pretty good for me apart from fight 1. And Bahamondes is fucking good. I thought Zhu Rong looked really good as well, but it was Bahamondes' fight. He was moving well. That submission was really good. Exciting guy at lightweight as well.
I like what he said as well. Zhu quit on the scales, so he knew he was going to quit in the fight. He looked fucking dominant. Oh, I don't know why it's just popped in my head now as well, but Magomed Yarapov's brother, Hassan. So Zabit's brother Hassan fought on the Bellator card. Fucking wrestling clinic, mate. Just take him down, control him. It was beautiful.
Nice. That's all good.
Sorry.
I thought there was a lot to like about Zhu Rong. He missed on the scales. It's not a good sign. He did look like he was flagging a little bit. And Bahamondes is tall and long for the division, man, and he strikes long
Another
as well.
6'3" one, yeah. I don't know how I missed that in the build-up, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually taller than Joel Alvarez, which is crazy. He's the tallest lightweight.
They're listed at the same height, but it'd be interesting to see him back-to-back.
That would be interesting. And listen, Bahamondes got the win. He marches on, looking great. He can do a bit of everything. I really enjoyed this fight, Josiane Nunes against Ramona Pascal, because Pascal, I didn't realize, took the fight on short notice, making a UFC debut.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
He got
Hannah
pretty
Goldie.
badly.
No, wait, sorry, not Hannah Goldie. It's supposed to be Hannah Goldie was supposed to fight against Ji Young Kim.
Yu Frey.
That's it. Yeah.
Don't know who Josiane Nunes was booked to fight, but Ramona Pascal, she might have got her ass kicked, but she came to fucking fight. I mean, she was getting tagged. She was getting beaten up. She almost got finished a few times. She kept hanging in there, trying to land her own strikes. Didn't look too bad round 1, but it kind of drifted away from her. But for a debut against a dangerous opponent, I thought that was a fucking great effort.
Yeah. And, well, yes and no, because that's kind of exactly what Nunes is good at. And I know, like, she was trying to, get the takedowns and, yeah. I can't fault her for anything, but maybe she would have benefited from trying to slow the pace of the fight down a little bit, It was a little too much on Nunes' times.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But she was excited, at the start. She was doing the come on, let's go, And I love to see that attitude from somebody who's short notice debut, not the best of circumstances. You're going against a pretty dangerous woman, and you're still willing to hang in there. And I think the only shame for Pascal is if she had a couple more rounds to work with, I think she'd kind of figured out a route to have success. It just all happened a little too late.
Yeah. And I've looked it up. It was Ji Young Kim and not Jin Frey. Threw me off with that. It's supposed to be Jennifer Gonzalez Araneda. It's just J's and too many names after that. Who was supposed to be making a debut. But I wonder if they'll rebook that one for Nunes. Fun fucking fight though. It was a good. It was a good card. It was a good card. No name value. Good weekend for fights.
Some rising names, man, because Terrence McKinney is a beast.
Yeah. Knocks him out, taps him out. T-Rex does it all.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And he didn't have the angle wasn't right on the guillotine, on the rear naked choke, and he still got him to tap.
Yeah, it was a weird one. So like, then kind of like he was going to maybe just like readjust, but then like seconds later, Ziam's tapping, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Some people just have weird body types, you know.
This is true. Martinez, much better than Alejandro Perez. Showed it across the fight. Brahimaj, I felt a little sorry for Michael Gilmore, I'm going to be honest, because I came into the card a little late, so I missed the first fight. I watched it back on repeat. But I come in just as Brahimaj has got him in the submission choke. And I assume that it's like either the second round or at least a few minutes into the first round. And then I see the clock and it was like less than 30 seconds when he had the position initially. And I was like, you're just not at the level, mate. You're just not at the level.
I thought he might have a bit more of a pronounced size difference, but yeah, just nothing working for him there. Fair play, Brahimaj. Back on track, albeit against a guy, an alternate from the Ultimate Fighter. You can only beat who's in front of you. I'm looking too hard to be cynical. It was a nice performance. Michael's getting cut. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I think. Honestly,
there's only so much love Dana has for you.
It's not even love, man. It's when you're that below the standard. It's you're kind of risking your own health at that point.
That's true. Although I don't think he took too much damage in this one.
No, but the next fight might be. And if you've just
34. Shit, if he can get one more fight in the UFC, it might be worth it. But I think you could probably get as good a payday fighting a much easier fight on the regional circuit if you're Michael Gilmore.
Yeah. Because it's just like, sometimes you're just not at the level. It's like when James Vick ended up retiring, when he got his fucking jaw smashed or something like that by a head kick on the regional scene. And eventually it's just like, I can't, I'm not at the level and it's my health. How much is the paycheck really worth?
Yeah, well, that was another dude that was cutting way too much weight all of his career.
Doesn't help, no. And he was at a higher level, obviously, than Gilmore, but my point still stands. And then fucking Carlos Fernandez. I flipped a goddamn coin on this one in my mind, and it gave you an entry to my maybe win the pick show. I got 3 decisions methods correct.
I got this 3 isn't methods looking correct.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
All right, it's a fucking tie.
God damn it. It's a tie. Have we had a tie before? I think we have had a tie before.
Yeah, once before when Eric Anders came on. We did we shared the honors 3 ways.
That's right.
I don't know if we've done another tie outside of that. I can't remember that many times that it's come down to the methods.
No, it's very rare. But sometimes that happens. We were both equally shit on the main card this week round.
Well,
one was a robbery, though. We should have both had at least one more.
Yeah, one was a robbery. Serkinov, complacent, bit arrogant, coming in as a reasonable favorite. Rodriguez has impressed. Again, coming in as a reasonable favorite. Don't know much about Petrosian. Okay, when we say there wasn't a lot of name value on the card, it's still a good fucking card. It's not easy to pick this shit when there's that many fucking debutants,
Yeah.
Okay. I think we did a good job picking, and we fucking smashed the prelims, but there were fighters we did know. So, yeah. Be nice
7 out of 10.
Write some encouraging shit in the comments, Sometimes our
7 out of 10
needs it.
7 out of 10 is, it's good. It's, you're passing your exams at 7 out of 10.
Yeah. That's a
not quite
fucking
an A.
first in a degree.
Depends how you're looking at it, yeah. We'll say we're on uni rules. That's a first. Smashed it. Okay, we kind of touched on it, but I don't know if we're going to include it. Cain Velasquez is arrested for attempted murder. That's fucked.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it at this stage.
Nothing at all.
I think we should hold off doing the pick show until we get at least one more fucking detail on this developing story. Because
yeah, I think that's probably a smart move. Also, I'd quite like to know if we've got RDA versus Makhachev confirmed before we do.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Where is the UFC 272 card? Is it in Vegas or are they? I'll tell you. I will tell you as I stall for time.
Yeah.
And I'm looking things up. It's at the T-Mobile Arena. T-Mobile Arena, so it's in Vegas. Makhachev's already there. It's not like they've got to fly him across back in the country or something.
And it's not like if Bobby Green can get through a 3-round fight and do a 2-week turnaround, then a minute and a half, shit.
Makhachev did not get punched. Makhachev did not get punched. Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat, talking about guys that don't get punched in fights. That is almost certainly now looking like it's on for 274 because Glover Teixeira has been pushed back to 275. So my guess is that they're going to keep the lightweight title fight as the main event or have the lightweight title fight as the main event, probably deservedly so. And then what can slot in as a beautiful little co-main, potentially 5 rounds, Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat.
Yes, please.
Glover Teixeira said he's absolutely fine with it being pushed back because the U274 card is not in Brazil anymore. He would have been really fucked off if he got pushed off the Brazil card, but it's going to be in America. So he's chill, and it means he's the main event of that. It didn't really feel right to have Oliveira versus Gaethje as a co-main event, so both title fights are going to get their equal respect and measure.
They give respect to some people, just not Bobby. The fuck. I kind of spilled through all my news items in our cold open, but did you see the fractured orbital from PFL Challenger Series?
I did not know.
Like the guy does the stupid clear your nose when you got the broken nose or eye injury, and the eye actually pops out. It's literally just it's his eyelids keeping his eye in.
Oh god! Point. Oh god!
He tries to come out for the second round, and the ref's like,
"Oh god,
we're gonna get a doctor to look at that." The doctor literally comes in, and before I can even read lips, god. The ref's just like, "Yeah, no, I just wanted to be sure. We're definitely not doing this. Fight done."
Oh god! Oh mate,
it's you don't see anything so bad, but it's just the way it's leaning and bulging against the eyelid.
Dude, I don't need to see it. I'm picturing it in my mind, and it's awful. Anything with the eyes, man, freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, kids, that's why you don't try to clear your fucking nose mid-fight, all right?
Breathe through the mouth, breathe through the mouth, breathe through the mouth.
Yeah. I'm bringing up the image
practice. If you need practice, start doing cocaine. It will block your nose up like fucking crazy. You'll get used to mouth breathing.
That's just solid advice. I'm not gonna try and fix anything there.
Speaking about solid, sorry, go ahead.
Google it. It's just Martin eye injury.
I don't want to look at it.
For faces.
I'm not looking at it, mate. I'm not looking at it. I'm freaking out even just thinking about it.
It's weird. The still image is worse than the video.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see any of it. I don't want to see the video. Don't tell me that the still image is worse.
Hey, you guys.
Oh, buddy, you're about to hate me.
What's his name?
You're going to hate me.
Never seen the Goonies.
I've never seen the Goonies.
Hang on. Google Goonies. Fuck, what's his name?
Sloth.
Sloth. All right. You know how the eye is?
I'm looking at a picture. Okay, so I'm looking at a picture of a video from the Goonies, and it's giving me all the impression I need of what this guy's eye looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's
is so
eerie. I'm
fucked.
just tapping between the two.
That is so fucked. Ah, that's so disgusting. Anything with
Yeah,
the
I'm not
eyes,
going to
man.
turn it into a shitty meme and stick it on our Instagram because that would be in poor taste. But like, you could stick a "Hey, you guys" over that eye injury. Everyone would know what you were talking about.
Do you want to hear a
Everyone would know,
dark?
apart from you.
Do you want to hear a dark meme that Laurie sent me?
God.
With the Klitschko brothers, Alexander Usyk, and Vasily Lomachenko now all joined in the Ukrainian Defense Forces. If Putin takes all of them out, he's going to have basically the greatest boxing resume in history.
Oh, Laurie. You're better than that. Come on, Pins.
I thought it was quite darkly funny. Oh man, I don't have any UFC news to talk about, but just to leave you, I started watching this slightly shit but quite addicted show on Netflix. Have you seen One of Us is Lying?
No, I haven't. No.
It's a little bit shit and teeny, but the premise is quite good. Basically, five teenagers are all in detention. Then one of the kids dies, and no one else could have done it, and one of them is lying.
Oh, right. I saw the trailer for this. Is it worth a watch?
It's a little bit shit, and it's very much like a teen thing. But there's enough of an actual like plot of what's going on dropped in that it's kind of compelling. But it's
I'll give it a go. We're halfway through Peacemaker at the moment, so
oh mate,
and
is that
we
good?
just finished Euphoria. Yeah, man, Peacemaker's fucking funny. I think binge watching it with your girlfriend is a mistake because there's a lot of stupid shit I would be like dying on the floor, like laughing over. If I was just like smoking a ton of weed watching it by myself. But like when she's like been watching it for like a few hours, I'm like, okay, we need to change it up a little bit. But it is fucking good. Also, just finished Euphoria, which is
I've heard it's good.
I had a hard time watching that last episode. I got a bit emotional. Actually, I haven't seen all of the last episode because I walked out halfway through.
Oh wow, super emotional.
I can't talk about it without ruining shit.
I don't want it ruined. I'm going to watch it at some point. Man, I'm going to be at my dad's for his birthday for his 60th this weekend. So I might just fucking download like a bunch of shit onto my phone or something like that from Netflix or my different platforms.
Yeah, I would recommend Pam and Tommy.
Really want to see
I don't know
that.
if Disney Plus lets you download shit, but just torrent it or something. And Euphoria for sure. And Peacemaker.
Is Euphoria on Disney?
HBO.
HBO.
So HBO's got Euphoria, Peacemaker, and shit, what else was I going to recommend that we watched recently? Shit, they've also I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pushing Kate really hard to start watching it with me. The Righteous Gemstones. You ever seen that?
No.
Danny McBride, Adam from Workaholics, and Pitch Perfect. It's got to be good, and it's got fucking John Goodman in it. It's got to be amazing, right?
Okay.
It's got to be. It's
What's
like
it called again? The Amazing Gemstones.
The Righteous Gemstones.
The Righteous Gemstones.
Like televangelists or something.
Okay.
I don't care. Danny McBride. You had me at Danny McBride. The fact that it's got one of them from Workaholics in it, just a little sprinkles on top.
I get what you're saying. Tell you what movie I want to try and watch tonight, because for one of the songs from this movie popped onto like my Spotify like radio shuffle, like recommended playlist thing. And ever since it's been stuck in my head. Have you ever seen Cannibal the Musical?
No, is it a Rob Zombie thing?
No, it's the first movie and thing that Trey Parker and Matt Stone ever did.
Oh shit, like before like Basketball and South Park.
Yeah, 1993. Wow. And it's a musical about a cannibal in like the Wild West. But the whole story is just fucking hilarious. and a couple of the songs, like it's a little early and rough and raw, but you can see like all of the fucking creative shit that was going to end up being South Park, kind of in this sort of like live action adventure.
But they've always been funny as fuck. Like they did Basketball before South Park as well, right?
No, Basketball they did in 1990. I don't know actually. They did Basketball in 1996. When did South Park first start?
Around then. I'm pretty sure South Park originated as like a school project when they were in film school.
Yeah.
But I don't think like they actually did the pilot and everything until after Basketball. Could be off on that.
South Park started in 1997, but I think the initial idea they'd already done, like you say earlier, they did Basketball in 1998, so riding off the success of South Park, and Cannibal the Musical 1993. I literally think it is something that they started as a film school project.
Fair enough. I think they went to a real film school as well, like a good one.
And it's easy to not realize this, but they're extremely intelligent guys. Like they understand like storytelling really well. And I remember seeing
fucking funny.
Well, also there's little things like there's certain storytelling kind of rules that they stick to very strictly. Like particularly when it was the individual episodes, every episode always had like a really well structured beginning, middle, and end. Every incident always led to the next incident. Like it's all these rules of like how you tell a story. And they actually do classes, and I've seen videos of them talking about it, where they say the worst thing that can happen is if you end up reading your story and it reads something like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, you've done something wrong. It should always be, this happens, and because of this happens. However, like your what do they call it? Your conjunction should always be like, but, therefore, that kind of stuff. It should never be and. So every one event in your story should always be the thing that leads to the next event. It should feel like it all makes sense.
Yeah, it's not an anthological sequence of events. It is a chain of causality. You know, event leads to event, leads to event.
You explained it much better than me. And that's why there's
well, you explained it, and then I said what you explained. Yeah, man. I can tell Kate's about to jump out of the shower, and I need
Don't
to.
Worry, we will.
I think I should have already cooked dinner. I think I'm behind already.
Anyway. I need to get dinner as well, so we will call it an episode. We'll be back for the pick show for the massive UFC 272 card, the big grudge match. Hopefully, Makhachev versus RDA. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a like, write something in the comments, and we'll see you later on the week. By Dave, by Laurie, by
Subscribing once isn't subscribing, by the way. Okay, you can get more email accounts. Do it twice. Bye, Laurie. Bye, Dave.